my goodness. Tonight is going to be another powerful, powerful night. Last night, we learned all about the CEO framework for seven-figure entrepreneurs, physician entrepreneurs, and we are those seven-figure physician entrepreneurs. Those of you who were here yesterday, let me know in the comments, how was it for you? What did you learn? What did you take away? I mean, we learned some serious mindset shifts, didn't we? We learned that we are unstoppable. We learned that we can actually make ourselves, within 90 days, like we can learn new things. All business skills are learnable. We learned that we can rise. Okay, there it is. I can rise above any challenge. Yes, it was so amazing. And tonight, Dr. Una is going to be talking to us about the Revenue Boost Daily 5. So if you were here last night and you're like, okay, oh, this sounds really good, especially if you heard the testimonials of our physician entrepreneurs. Oh my. We had Dr. Carolyn Oswaldo, who in her first year in business, grows 750,000. Crazy. Then we had Dr. Okoba, who was already a seasoned CEO, but then joined the Entrepreneur Business School, learned so much, and completely changed her business around. She became an expert at teams, became an expert at systems, even got to the point of winning the Inc. regionals, amazing, amazing, amazing. You may be wondering, well, how do I put it all together? And Dr. Una is going to tell us that tonight, putting it all together and making it work for your business. Because as Dr. Una said, this is what we do. This is why we're here. The EntreMD brand is here to help you win and win big. We're here to help you practice medicine and live life on your own terms. Okay, so Dr. Bedford is posting what she learned. She said, oh, Dr. Learn and Implement Okoba. Absolutely. She learned everything that she needed to learn and she implemented it. And also, Dr. Bet on Yourself Swaldo. Okay, yes. Amazing. So Dr. Una is here with us. Who's excited? Who's ready to learn? Let me know in the comments if you're ready to learn. Get your workbooks out and give your full attention because you are not going to be the same. Remember our 90 days, July 7th, you're not going to be the same after 90 days if you implement what you learned. Thank you, Dr. Una.
All right. Thank you, Makita. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How's everybody doing? Throw up some emojis in the chat. Let's get our big energy on because we came here to change things. We're going to walk away from here different. All right. Say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm like super, super excited. I've been waiting for this. Oh, Dr. Yolanda, all the hearts. I love it. Thank you. Love, love, love it. Okay. So I see lots of friends. I see lots of people who were on here yesterday. Now, before we get into this, I want to ask one question. Who did something differently today because of what happened yesterday? It may be you showed up in a different way. It may be something you had been avoiding and you're like, look, I'm a whole boss. I can rise to any challenge. I'm going to do this. You were like, I'm going to be different in the next 90 days. Thank you very much. And it starts today. Who did something different? Let me know in the chat. What did you do? What did you do differently? Because remember, we talked about making decisions and taking action. We're not here to stay the same. We're not here for same old, same old. We are no longer cynical. We realize everything can change in 90 days. Okay. All right. So let me know in the chat. I'm patient. I'm patiently waiting. I'm assuming you're typing. Let me know. I know that was not your homework, but I know somebody in here did that. Who showed up differently? Yes. Dr. Leslie said yes to more new patients. Right? We want more patients. We say yes to them. Yes, I love it. Okay. Who else? You did something differently. Dr. Beckford, I showed up differently, asked for help, sent messages to get patients. I went live. Awesome. Dr. Sarah, I pulled the trigger on my expansion to a different state. Why not? Dr. Julian, I listened to you. I hired someone to help with admin. I hired a virtual assistant. Guys, we're talking 24 hours, right? Dr. Yolanda, I just watched the video, got inspired, and you're here for day 2. You're here for action day, Dr. Yolanda. Things are about to get really real. Guys, I want you to see this. You can live a life where every 90 days you're different, your business is different, and no matter what challenges shows up, you can rise to it. Okay, we're not victims. We're not waiting for some Calvary to come. We're the Calvary. We're not stuck. Our businesses are not stuck. There are things we need to do, yes, but we're gonna win at this. Okay. Dr. Felicia, I hope you say iPhone, so I hope I got you right. Woke up in the middle of the night about a current challenge and remembered there's nothing I can't conquer. Like, how many of you just love that? You can go heart her comment because, oh my goodness, that's what this is about. When the challenge is nobody ever promised there will not be challenges, but my goodness, our track record shows we've survived 100% of them. So why don't we keep it going? Okay. Okay. So I want you to see this 24 hours. These are the changes that already started happening. What if you did this for 90 days? What if you continued for 90 days? What would happen? That's what this is all about. Okay. So yesterday we looked at the CEO framework, right? The way seven-figure CEOs function, which was super powerful, lots of mindset shifts there. And today we're going to look at the Revenue Boost Daily 5. This is the deal. This is going to be so powerful that whether you have an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours to work on your business, you know what to do to move the needle. How many of you have had a whole day of business to work on your business and you sat down and you didn't know what to do? Let me know in the chat. You were like, if I only knew what to do. Okay. By the end, Dr. Charlie's like, yes. Echo says, yep. By the time we're done with this, that is going to be a historical fact. You might say, I mean, I know everything, but I know 5 things I can do that will move the needle forward in my business. Okay. Okay. All right. So I want we're going to need your workbooks for this one. Okay. So pull out your workbook. I think the team, Dr. Yolanda said you read minds too. That's my job. My job is to be in your mind and answer all the questions you have. Okay, so we're going to page 5. I presume that's what it is on there. Okay. Now, this is a deal. Okay. When I started off as an entrepreneur, I was like a deer caught in headlights. Okay. Because first of all, I didn't know what to do. Okay. So like you, I'd sit down like, okay, I have this practice now. I'm sitting in the office and the rooms are there, but there are no patients and the phone is not ringing. And like, what do I need to do? I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then on top of it, there are some things I knew I could do. Like, go to the OBGYN's, I'm a pediatrician, go to the OBGYN's office down the street. I was like, that I know I'm not going to do. Okay, so first of all, I don't know all the things to do. And then the few things I know, I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm an introvert. I'm a professional. Professionals don't go around promoting their business. This is sleazy, right? We don't do stuff like that and all of that. And so guess what happened to my business? Nothing. Okay. So Dr. Una has taken one for the team, so you don't have to take it. Okay. So I'm going to show you what to do. All right. Okay. So let's do some workbook things and then we'll get into these 5 things. All right. So first, we're going to work on some identity stuff here. We are great clinicians, right? I rarely ever talk to physicians about clinical stuff because I'm like, you have that down pat. You spent over a decade learning how to do that stuff. So you're a great clinician, okay? But to thrive as an entrepreneur, you need to be a great clinician and a savvy entrepreneur. So fill that out, okay? Fill that out. On page 5, session 2, I am a great clinician and a savvy entrepreneur. This is the way we now identify. I identify as a savvy entrepreneur. Now, you may say, but I don't know everything. That's okay. You're learning. You know more today than you did yesterday. And at the end of this, you're going to know more than you did yesterday. So this is good. This is great. I'm a great clinician and a savvy entrepreneur. Okay. All right. Now, as a savvy entrepreneur, next line is I focus on high level 20% activities that create massive results in my business. Okay. So I focus on high level. I don't fool around. I don't mess around. When it's time to work, I work. And I know the strategic 20% activities, like when I do this thing, it moves the needle. So Dr. Jillian said here, she says, move the needle forward in my business is the key. I know what I could do to play around on Canva and not actually do anything forward moving. Okay, raise your hand if you understand this whole Canva thing, right? You're like, I know what to do in my business, but you see this graphic right here? I need to create that graphic, okay? And so we focus on 20% activities. That's what we're going to talk about today, okay? Now, there are a lot of things you can do in your business, but I want to give you 5 that are going to be such game changers. Some of them you've heard before, but remember, we're not here to learn to know. We're here to learn to do. So it's not about here, have I heard it before or not? If you've heard it before, it is a great opportunity for you to audit your business and say, am I doing this? Maybe your business is bigger. Maybe you're doing seven figures, multiple 7 figures. Your question is this being done in my business? Right? If you're solo, you have a smaller team, am I doing this? If it's bigger, is this being done? Because if this is not happening, your business is either almost dead or is about to start dying. No business survives without doing these 5 things. Okay. And the more of them you do, the better your business will do. People talk about multiple streams of income, right? In your practice, in your business, you can have multiple streams of revenue. And so if something happens to one, the other is firing on all cylinders, right? This is the reason why you want to know these 5. Someone say, oh, well, I've only done this one and I've been just fine. Yes, but if a competitor comes up, will you survive it? If there's tension in the market, will you survive it? If there's a COVID, will you survive? You got to be able to use different things. Okay. All right. Type in the chat. I'm willing to learn if you are. Actually, I'm willing to do it. Don't worry about the learning part. I'm willing to do it. Type it in the chat if you are. This is your insurance policy. This is what will make your business thrive when other businesses are going out of business. My first business, we started in 2008. If you remember that was a very interesting recession. My businesses have thrived through a pandemic, and we have a repeat of 2020 happening this year, and our businesses are going to thrive, as will yours. But I want to show you what to do. Okay. So there are 5 things that need to happen in your business. And oh my goodness, if you could set yourself up to do this on a daily basis, what? Okay. And it's all around asking. It's all around asking. And if you're like me, you're like, but that's the one thing I don't want to do, Dr. Una. I want to do a lot of things, but I don't want to ask. But this is the deal. Okay. You started your business because you want to help people. You want to have a profound impact. You want to be rewarded with financial freedom, and you want to be rewarded with time freedom. And these are all things that, as far as I'm concerned, you 1000% deserve. Okay. Now, if you build a business that impacts 10 times more people than you thought it ever could, it sets the stage for you to never have to worry about money in any shape or form. And you're able to give, and you're able to put away for your kids and your grandkids. And it puts you in a position where you have the time to do the things that matter to you. You have the time, maybe they're passion projects. You have the time for that. You have time to sleep. You have time to take care of yourself. You have time to spend with your family. If somebody needed you, you could take the day off. You could take a week off. You can take a month off to do what you need to do. If you can have that life, but it requires asking for you to have it. Who here is willing to just ask them? If the ask is what leads you to the impact, the time freedom, the financial freedom, life on your terms, like you get to a point where you're like, I'm doing everything I want to do. I feel like I'm living exactly the way I'm supposed to live. Will you be willing to ask? Right? I see some people saying I'm willing. Some others are like, Dr. Una, you can say what you want. I'm not doing it. Okay, not on this call, not on this call. Okay, right? Okay, so when you remember, I don't like this, just remember the dream and just say the dream is worth it. Okay, my dream is worth it. I talk to people that are like, I just want to travel with my mother around the world. The dream is worth it. Right? I don't want to stay back charting and worrying about my business and doing all these things when I could spend that time with my children. The dream is worth it. Okay, Dr. Una, you've been that enough. Let's go. Okay, so 5 asks. So first ask, every one of these asks on their own can translate to $1 million in your business. Okay, that's just the way this is. Okay, let's go. First ask is asking people to work with you. This is the most challenging one because we are hardwired to think that if we do a good job, people will just come to us. Let me know in the chat if that's what you've thought. Let's not say what you think, right? Because you've changed your mind in real time. But you're like, I do a good service. I'm a really good doctor. I'm a really good coach. I'm a really good speaker. So people are just going to reach out to me and choose to work with me. Who's believed that before? Let me know in the comments. You're just like, yeah, they would know. They don't know. They're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about your business. They're not thinking about how amazing you are or how amazing your service is. They're not thinking about it. And I can tell you, they don't care. Everybody's tuned into their own radio station thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about it. If you want people to work with you and you want this to be consistent and you want to have a business where, every week, every month, every day, you're welcoming new people into your private practice or your coaching practice, or you're getting new opportunities to speak on stages and filling up your events and all of that, you will ask people to work with you. I know it sounds so simple, but I have worked with entrepreneurs for a very long time. And this is one place where we fight and kick and scream, and we try to do everything but ask. We will even do the master class, keep people, teach them for an hour and not ask. We will show up, talk to people and not ask. We will do social media posts and not ask. We will go live and not ask. We will do all the things. And they were like, I didn't want to mess it up. I was really serving them. I didn't want to mess it up with an ask. You must be clear that when you invite people to work with you, it gives you the opportunity to serve them at the highest level. So when you're asking them to work with you, you are doing really good work. Period. Okay? So if you're here and you're a private practice owner and you do a live, your family medicine, you're talking to people about, okay, you're taking the medicine for hypertension, but this is what you should do with your diet and all of this kind of stuff. And someone watches that and goes away, and somebody else watches it and becomes your patient, please let me know in the chat who is getting the bigger result. The person who watched the one live or the person who's your patient? Who's getting the big result? Who's getting the bigger result? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Who's getting the bigger result? The patient is the one who became the patient. So when you invite people to become your patient, guess what you're doing them? A favor. What do I do when I ask people to work with me? I'm doing them a favor. That's what I'm doing. Okay? So invite people to work with you. Invite people to work with you. Invite people. Don't be afraid to do it. Lean into the beauty of what you do. Okay. Yesterday, you guys heard Dr. Carolina Swaldo share her story. And she said, when I started working with Dr. 𝐂𝐚, I started off as an employed physician. I was building my brand and all of those things. And then she goes on to say, then I decided to start my practice. And she was so generous that she shared her numbers. And she said, at the end of the first year of my practice, I had brought in $750,000. Now, she was listening to the podcast. She could have listened to the podcast. She could have come to work with me. She comes to work with me, $750,000 in year one. And in year two, she says, I've already paid myself more than I paid myself all of last year. And we're still in the first, that's based on Q1 numbers, the first quarter of the year. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So when I say, come work with me, what am I doing? A favor. That's the way you have to think about your business. When I ask people to work with me, I'm doing them a favor. I'm serving them at the highest level. I'm giving them an opportunity that will change their lives. Okay? Can you believe that? Can you lean into the results you've gotten people and believe that? Let me know in the chat. This is so important because if you don't believe it, you're not going to ask. You're not going to ask. I see a lot of, okay, so Dr. Akudo is a sleep medicine doc, right? Like, think about how terrible insomnia is. And people come work with you and their lives are changed. Like that, someone being able to sleep, that changes everything, like everything, right? So just think of it in those terms and what you do and lean into it and fall in love with what you do. So when you're asking people to work with you, you're doing it understanding. I'm not manipulating them. I'm not being greedy because I want more money. That's not what's happening. I am giving them an opportunity to get the biggest results they can get with me. The end. Okay. Okay. I I have like 5 people who said they can believe it. Can anybody else believe it? How many of you guys believe in what you do? That you're like, when people work with me, I get them results. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, Dr. Leslie says me. Dr. Julie, they sure do. Dr. Anderson, yes. Yes, yes. Okay. Who else? Come on. I need a few more believers. Yes. Dr. Favor. Okay. Who else? Is it Sarah? Dr. Junket? Okay. Okay. See? Yeah. But you have to, guys, you have to. Okay. You have to. And you will hear no, and no is okay. Right? All you need is the number of yeses you need. The no's are just a distraction. Don't worry about the no's. Okay. Second ask. So one is asking people to work with you, and people build $1 million businesses just by asking people to work with them. Many of them don't engage the other 4. Okay. The second one is ask people to continue to work with you. You would think, like, I've worked with this person for 2 years. We've gotten so many amazing results. This is just phenomenal. And all of these things that they know to continue working with me. They do not know. How many of you have gotten somebody a result and you were sure that they know they should keep working with you and they stopped working with you? Let me know in the chat. I must have some cousins here. Okay. And you were like, how Sway, make it make sense. Like, this is not the response. Like, when we get this result, the response is we continue, not we stop. Right? But then they're not thinking about you or your business. This is your job. This is a you problem. Okay, so you ask them to continue working with you. So let me give you a practical example. So we had a doc in the 𝐁𝐸MD Business School, and he had 4 clinicians working in his private practice. So I want you to think about the size of his payroll. Okay, and they were working on a new building. They were doing all of these things, and then he noticed his volume started dropping, and so they started having all these gaps in their schedule. Now, a lot of times when you have employees that are not well trained, when they see gaps in the schedule, they're like, whoopee, we get a break, we get a slow days. Awesome. If you have team members like that, you have a lot of team meetings to do. Okay. Because this is called a problem. Okay. So anyway, so here he is like, how are we going to meet payroll? What are we going to do? This is a problem. Right. And then he used this principle because he's had many patients come to him. Many of them have not come back. And so he has his virtual assistant start calling people, right? Remember I said your more established practice, just make sure it's done. It doesn't mean you're doing everything, right? But it's done. And so they start calling like, hey, calling from, this doctor's office. It seems like you're overdue for your appointment. The good news is we can get you in. Would Tuesday at 3 or Friday at 2 p.m. work for you? They're like, okay, I'll do Wednesday and stuff like that. They did that for a few weeks and went from having gaps in the schedule with him wondering how he's going to make payroll to then having themselves booked out for 2 weeks. So if someone called, we're like, we can get you in 3 weeks. How many of you would like to have that problem? Like, I prefer problem number 2 to problem number 1. Do you see what I'm saying? So in that case, he wasn't asking people to work with him. Dr. Charlie says, shower me with this problem, right? But he was asking people that had already worked with him, like, come back, come work with me again. Your coach is the same thing. People are working, like, their time is up. You're like, come work with me again. They worked with you in the past. Come work with me again. This singular strategy on its own can create 7-figure moves in your business. So you have 5 clients, you have 100 patients, you have 10 patients, you can use this strategy, right? But from where you are, you want to start using it. Why? Every time you use it, it's creating momentum in your business. It's creating stability. So not only are you winning, but there's stability there. Okay. Number 3, ask people to work with you at a higher level. Now, there's this principle that the reward for solving problems is new problems. Okay. And so the fact that you've helped somebody do something doesn't mean you can no longer help them. So for instance, when we started the 𝐁𝐸MD Business School, we had the 𝐁𝐸MD Business School. We just had the 𝐁𝐸MD Business School, and it started doing what the school is supposed to do. So people start hitting 750 in revenue, $1 million in revenue, 2 million in revenue, and all of that stuff. So guess what? they have new problems, right? Because they're like, okay, now team is a significant problem, right? Growing and scaling while maintaining profits, because I hope you know there are many people running $3 million practices that have no profit. They can't even pay themselves. Being able to do it's a whole different skill set. And so we created another tier for them. We call it EBS scale. And we're like, okay, so once you start getting close to the, like 750, a million, come over here. We have bigger problems to solve here, right? And so what do? We ask people like, you're here, come work with us here, right? Because they're going to work with somebody. If you ask them, they'll work with you. If you don't, they'll work with someone else. Again, this on its own can create 7-figure leaps in your business. Okay, how are we doing so far? Let me know if you're like, this is good, Dr. Una. Like, what? Let me know in the chat. Is good? Okay. All right, moving along. Number 4, ask people to refer their friends and family to you. Okay, this is one of my most fun stories. I've told it a gazillion times. So here I am, doc, working in private practice, growing my practice, going like, okay, how are we going to get new patients, strategizing, doing all of these things. I walk into a patient's room. She has a 6-year-old kid. They've been my patients since the kid was maybe 1 or something like that. She's always been like, my goodness, Dr. Una, you're absolutely amazing, and all of that. So on this day, she makes a statement. She was like, like I had a friend of mine who was looking for a pediatrician, and I was like, man, I wish that my pediatrician can see you, but she's so busy. She has all these patients. So why don't you Google and find somewhere else you can go to? So I pull out a seat. I'm like, please, pray tell. Where did you get this impression from? I come in the waiting room. I see people. I'm walking down the hallway. I see patients. I'm like, you have all the patients you want. There are people who will send you patients, send you clients who are convinced that you're busy. And so they're doing you a favor and they're sending the patients you're wishing would come to you to somebody else. You know why? Because you didn't ask them. You think they would know you're looking for people. They're sending their friends and their families to someone else. To someone else. Okay. Who's going to ask? Show of hands. Like I'm going to tell them, hey, and it's very simple. Okay. It's very simple. Let me give you an example. Somebody comes and says, let me pick a doctor. Dr. Yolanda, you're the best ever. I've had this problem for like 5 years. Nobody could figure it out except you. You're awesome. I want to translate that for you. What they're saying is, please ask me, Dr. Yolanda, please ask me for a referral. Okay. So when they tell you that, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy we could take care of, whoever the patient client is. And you're like, well, let me tell you what, we're growing and I'd love to grow with patients and clients just like you. Do you have friends and family who deserve a doctor like me? And they say, as a matter of fact, and how comes here the fun? Let me tell cousin Jane. She was asking me the other day. And that's how that happens. Just make it your default setting. Make it your default setting. Okay? Okay. All right. So ask people to refer. If we don't ask, they're not saying yes. They don't say yes to something we're not asking for. They're not. Dr. T says, I recognize my ask hasn't been strong or loud enough. # new default setting. Yes. Yes, do it. It will change everything. Because then again, there are private practices, there are coaching businesses that have purely been built on this kind of referral. Purely. So imagine you're stacking them 1, 2, 3, 4. And I still got one more. Okay. Dr. Julian says, what are common problems when such high incomes lead to no profit? Oh, that's a different conversation. And we're going to address it somewhat on day 4, on Thursday. Okay, that's different. But yeah, we will address that. Okay. Yeah. And one of the things is this not being done. Right? Like, so, but we'll address it. I promise. I got you. Okay. Number 5, ask people to refer their clients and their audiences to you. So this is different from friends and family, right? Like, so if you have a coaching client, they're sending friends and family. If you have patients, they're sending friends and family. But you also have people who are leaders of communities filled with your people. Example, I'm a pediatrician, okay? So guess what an OBGYN has? All my people, but they don't serve them the way I serve them, right? They serve the mommies directly. I serve the babies. Do you see that? I serve the mommies by serving the babies, right? Do you see that? And so now I'm talking to OBGYNs. I'm like, send me your clients, send me your audience, right? You're a coach. So let's say I do business education for physician entrepreneurs. Somebody else could be a life coach or a weight loss coach for physician entrepreneurs. We both, for physicians, we both serve physicians, but we serve them in different ways, right? And so I can tell the person who's a life coach, hey, like, let me come talk in your group about entrepreneurship, blah, 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 blah. It puts me in front of all their people so I can ask them, come work with me. Okay. So your dermatology, that could be primary care, your, like, whatever that is, there are people who have your people. The more of those people you have, the happier your business will be. And this alone can take your business to 7 figures. So this is the deal. When you have 1 hour to work on your business, guess what you can do? You can ask someone to work with you. You can reach out to a referral source, ask them to send you patients or connect or clients or whatever. You can tell one patient or client who says you're the best thing since sliced bread, send somebody to me. And you can offer somebody who's working with you to work with you at a higher level. How many of you know, show of hands, that it will move your business forward? And you did it in an hour. And when you have a whole day, like I have a CEO day to work on my business. And it's like, you got CEO stuff to do. And when you build a team, then if you have a team, so Dr. Jillian, this is like the intro of the answer to your question. If you have a team that has figured this out, like and not they figured it out, like you coach them on it and they're doing this, it means everybody who works for you is directly affecting the bottom line. That is called happiness. If you have a team of more than 3 people, I want you to imagine all of them doing this. And then let me know in the chat how that makes you feel. It makes me feel happy, like skipping kind of happy. Okay, let me know in the chat, because everybody's pulling their weight. Everybody's directly affecting the bottom line. Your payroll is no longer an expense. It's not an investment, because you pay them, they generate revenue. It's like, like Dr. Young's like, happy face. Yes, right? That's what happens. That's what happens. It's just like mind-boggling. Okay. And if they don't know anything about this, then yeah, it's gonna be pain and suffering. Dr. Julian says these are CEO high-level tips. Yeah, no need to be uncomfortable. We're here. Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It really is that simple. But this is the deal. Okay. So this is where we're gonna do some real stuff. If you look in your workbook, it says my biggest obstacle to asking is, fill it out. Fill it out. What's your, like, when you think about this, what is the one thing that kept coming up for you over and over and over? What is your biggest obstacle to asking? Put it in there. When you're done, type done. When you're done, type done. Biggest, and you know what it is. You don't have to think about it. You know what it is. Just write it in there, type done in the chat. You know what it is. I don't want to bother people. What if they say no? Remember, you can rise to any challenge. You can take a no. Okay. All right. So this is what I want you to answer. This is the deciding moment. This is where great businesses are going to be born, right this moment. So you have 2 options. You're going to check them. I am committed to stopping this obstacle from stopping me. Or, nah, I'll let this obstacle keep robbing me of my dreams. It's okay. Like dreams, who cares? Who wants that? Don't care about it. Okay. Let me know in the chat, 1 or 2. What did you pick? I am committed. I'm not going to let this obstacle stop me anymore. I am committed to stopping it from stopping me. Whatever that obstacle is. Like, nope, nope, nope. I like Dr. T. New default setting in place. We ask. What's the worst that happen? They'll say no. No biggie. No biggie. None at all. Okay. Okay. So your homework is this. In the next 24 hours before I see you tomorrow. So Makita, she's an expert at spending my money, so she'll come up with something. But I want you to go practice and make one of each of the asks before I see you tomorrow. Just rip the Band-Aid off and convince yourself that you have the capacity to change in 24 hours. Ask someone to work with you. Ask someone to continue working with you. Ask someone to work with you at a higher level. If you don't have a higher level thing, just double up on something else. Ask someone to refer to you. Connect with a referral source. Ask them to send you people. Go do one of each. Go do one of each. Listen to me. You have the capacity to be a rock star physician entrepreneur, a savvy entrepreneur. You've looked at other people and you said, that person's a unicorn. No, you're a unicorn. And this is the pathway. This is what unicorns do. You're a unicorn. So do your homework. It would change your life. The whole point of me explaining this, telling stories, being funny, doing all this stuff is for you to understand it so you can go do it. As powerful as this is, it won't matter if you don't do it. Okay, let me know in the chat who's going to do it. Who's going to do it? Make Dr. Una happy because we have a friend for you. This is going to be so good. I love. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to bring Makita up. I don't get off. Don't get off. We decided to do many things today. Okay, many things. One of the things is you're going to meet a phenomenal person. And I don't know how this keeps happening, but I don't know of a better person to interview on a day where we talk about asking. Like I just don't know. So this is going to be good. I want you to lean in. I want you to see what happens when you do this. Okay. This is what has helped us thrive in all kinds of business situations. It was what has made us show up on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies for 2 years in a row. It is what has given us time freedom, impact. We've touched thousands and thousands of physicians. It's crazy. You're going to ask. Okay. All right, Makita, over to you.
All righty. Thank you so much, Dr. Una. Wasn't that amazing? Let's give Dr. Una some love in the comments. That was so good. We are going away completely inspired and ready to start asking. Dr. Ashram is giving you hearts everywhere. Thank you, Dr. Una. And, like Dr. Una said, I want everyone to get an idea of what happens when you ask. When you do the asking that Dr. Una has taught us over a period of time, right? So we have with us today the amazing Dr. Rashmi Shram, and she is going to tell us a little bit about herself, about her entrepreneur journey, and then we'll also ask her some of these hard questions about asking and how do you fit that in every day, and what does that look like for her? So, Dr. Shram, thank you so much for coming. Welcome. We're so glad to see you.
It's always a pleasure and an honor to be in this space, and I recognize a lot of these faces. So, hi, friends. It's so good to be here, and it's just a beautiful space that's always created.
Thank you. And you have such a beautiful story. And Dr. Una rightly said that she can't think of anyone else that would be a better example of what it means to ask and to ask over time. Could you tell us a little bit about that, and how that has helped you in your business and how you started asking, and what are maybe some of the obstacles that you encountered?
You bet. So just by way of kind of introducing myself, and maybe if
Sure,
you
yes.
guys don't know, so I'm Rashmi Shram. I practiced family medicine, high volume family medicine for 22 years. And around 2017, 2018, I had started a direct primary care practice that was incorporating a lot of Ayurvedic concepts, so a lot of integrative types of things, and was also doing some coaching on the side, teaching meditation, and I couldn't quite put it all together. I have been in EBS since December of 2020, and it has, I always say that was the best decision I made in 2020, and that's still true because here I am 5 years later, right, still saying EBS has been one of the best decisions that I continue to make to stay in. And some of that is about the asking. So what I do now, as by way of sort of kind of describing what happens now in my life and in my business, it looks nothing like it did when I entered EBS for sure. And that happened very quickly. So now I have a growing podcast. I host retreats. I really feel like I'm living a really aligned dream life in that I do some group work online and in person. And I also, the vast majority of what I do, the bulk of what I do is one-on-one coaching. And the space that I'm in really is this trauma-informed somatic healing and coaching space, is if it can be summed up into something. And the asking part is so important, because as Dr. Una was going through the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like that 100% still applies to me in this very moment, because there's a different ask that I can make in a different space than I did last year or 2 years ago. And so I often complain that when Dr. Una is like, and she wasn't playing when she said, you guys go out and do it, right? Like I was like, yes, ma'am, I'm going to go do it. And this was back in 2020, and I got a ton of no's. I didn't know what to do with those. It's natural to get those no's. It's very natural, because that's how you know you're pushing yourself. And so the yeses, though, didn't come right away. They started to trickle down all through the next year or 2 years or whatever. So what I really learned was that a no isn't a hard stop or a no, right? That is definitely our way to get to a yes. And also that no generally means not right now, or they might say, I'm not in, I already have a coach, or I don't, whatever, but I have this friend who I think is looking. And so there are all these different ways in which, if we're sincere, we put ourselves out there and we have a high integrity space from which we're working. I think people recognize that, and the people that need us will come to us. Does that help about kind of the asking and why I think it's 100% natural for us to come up with 16 different excuses to not do the ask in a way for us to protect, whatever parts of ourselves that we think we need to protect?
Definitely, that definitely. And I also love the fact that you're showing us that those parts don't necessarily need to be protected, because the things that we think in our mind about the ask is really not true. Like, for example, when you said a no isn't a no, it's not a hard stop. It just could be not right now. Or maybe it's no for me, but for someone else. So in your mind, going into the ask, you can be thinking, oh no, they don't want what I have. And if they say no, that can reiterate that. But you just completely obliterated that thought, because it's like, no, it doesn't mean that at all. And then it's also a numbers game, right? Dr. Shram, that you have to keep asking people, because eventually you'll find your people. You'll find the people that want to work with you. And like you said, you're living a dream life right now, in the sense that you're working with the people that you want to work with in the way that you want to work with them. So definitely that really answered. If anyone has a question for Dr. Shram, go ahead and put it in the chat. That really answered a whole lot of questions. So I want to ask you a little bit about what the asking has done for you. What
That's a
yeah.
good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. So first of all, I want to preface that I am 100% sure that I would not have started asking like I did, and continue to ask, not just with Dr. Una's, sort of like coaching, but also watching everyone else inside the school. So I think that's important to kind of bring in here, to watch everyone else sort of figure out how to get through the muck, is really helpful, and to watch other people ask is really helpful as well. And so to kind of come back to who it's made me become, it's a totally different person, right? And it's someone who is starting to understand that I can create that safety within myself in order for me to ask and stay in that discomfort. And that takes a little bit of practice, right? And we
Mhm.
can't get better until we practice. That's the thing. And so there are a few things that I think I've begun to sort of embody, like biologically, not just like, cognitively. And that's, I don't owe the world perfection when I'm asking, right? And the world doesn't owe me accolades or even recognition for the work that I'm doing as I'm asking. And so I think if we can release some of those expectations that we have to be perfect before we ask, or before we launch, or we have to look a certain way, we don't owe the world perfection. Like it's something that we have to give ourselves permission to do. And I think that might also create some safety within ourselves to be able to do some of this work.
Mhm. That is awesome. I love that. We don't owe the world perfection and the world doesn't owe us accolades. It's just an action. Asking is just an action. And, I love what Dr. Una said in the beginning. If you knew that asking would allow you to have your dream life, would you ask? And everyone's like, yeah, sure. I mean, for my dream life, why not? So you just reiterated that. Thank you so much. Now, when we think about your business wins, what business wins have you, or personal wins have you been able to experience as a result of you being a relentless asker?
Yes, so many, right? It's number one, who it is that I'm becoming, somebody who can
Yes.
withstand being sort of whatever the word we want to use, rejected or whatever, and still not have it mean something about my worth or something like that. So I think that's invaluable. If that's the only thing I got, I'd probably
Huge.
mic drop and walk away.
Yeah.
But ultimately, though, like, and this was helpful for me, Makita, because this morning you said, you know what, you can look at, kind of play around with the numbers and see. So I just went back into QuickBooks at lunchtime today and sort of looked, and QuickBooks don't lie. The revenue is there. If the revenue is there, it's following, right? And so right off the bat, as soon as I came into EBS, right, I was in that space that we are all so comfortable in, which is overworking, underpaid, like no worries, I got this, I know how to do this really well, in the honor of service, which doesn't change, by the way, but we're not in service to ourselves when we're doing that. And so like that's how I sort of hobbled into EBS. And so you can imagine as a like a literal like resuscitation, immediately there was like a 200 or 300% revenue in 2021, and it doesn't stop there, right? So there's been a very consistent 30 to 60% year after year of revenue growth for me, and it's not accidental. It's not just I'm not sitting back and just letting it come to me. I don't know that that ever happens, but in a way in which you get to a space, right? And then you can ask a different ask, and you can give yourself permission to pivot. I know that in sort of traditional insurance-based models, maybe that doesn't resonate, but I think there could be some amount of creativity even in a model like that we could start to come up with different if we allow ourselves enough safety for creativity to arise. And I think that's ultimately what this whole practice is for and about.
Yeah, and I think definitely when you increase profits, it opens a lot of doors. It opens a lot of opportunity for you to be able to do more. I mean, your practice has allowed you to really have a dream practice where you're able to help people on a completely holistic, integrative level. Um, and I mean, just see these amazing transformations every day.
I think so. And I just finished up a coaching session before I came, and the way she started, because we always start with wins, was she was, and we all have a good sense of humor. And she was like, you know what? I feel sorry for the rest of your clients because I have the most wins this week. And it was just like she was like, I can't even. How much time do we have today? Because I have so many wins. And so ultimately, for folks to get that comfortable with even just recounting their own wins without making it mean that my ego is big, I can't fit through the door or whatever, I think it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. You mentioned a few things, and a lot of them have to do with how being in the Entrepreneur Business School has helped you not only start asking, but to perfect asking, to be comfortable asking, um, and to integrate asking with with other strategies. You mentioned the community, and that's a huge part of the school, I believe. Can you tell me anything else about the school that has helped you, overall in your journey?
Yeah, for sure. Let's decode Dr. Una for a second, if you will. 'Cause I often talk about I love being in her orbit, and I
Yeah.
really do mean that, right? So we get to kind of be in her orbit, and I had her on my podcast a few months ago, and I wasn't easy with her, if you will, and so I was kind of asking her all the hard questions, and she was great with all of it. And one of the things that I asked her was like, why? Like you have achieved such a high level of, and
Mhm.
watching her like, what is your motivation? And she's very clear with that, but I really wanted to hear her say it. And it was a version, I'm not gonna say it exactly how she said it, but it was a version of I don't want to get to the end of my life and have any gas left in my tank, if you will. I don't want to have any unfulfilled potential, which first and foremost, that's got to resonate with all of us because we're all high achievers with huge, unlimited potential. And so how are we limiting ourselves? That's the first thing, right? And so the second thing she said was, I feel like I am now being an example for what's possible for physicians, right? And that's true too. Like we don't get to define ourselves by, well, I go through this amount of college and this amount of medical school, this amount of training, and then that's it. That's the end of my growth. Like that's insane. Whoever thought of that? Like what, why? Like how do we rise to this high level and then we're just supposed to be contained in this space? Like no, that box doesn't fit anybody on this call. So that was the other part that she exemplifies and exudes inside of the school itself, right? That there's no lid and that she gets to push her own self over and over and over again. And she's also making a lot of asks, and you get to watch her make a lot of asks, and you get to watch her maneuver and flow through a space in which a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about her as well. And they're not shy about the thoughts that they have about her. And her understanding of how to flow through that space and exemplifying how to flow through that space, that's invaluable to me. Like to be in an orbit of someone who is functioning at that kind of a high level with that kind of expanded state of consciousness and understanding of what's possible for her. I think that in and of itself is pretty amazing. But I think that's probably only 25% of the EBS school, if I'm being honest, because the rest of it is the people that are in there. And there's a culture of collaboration versus competition, and that is a very clear delineation in different parts, I think, of where we get to play, right, at our workplace or anywhere else. There could be conceptions of competition over collaboration, and we get to carry that energy and that culture wherever we go of collaboration. And so something that I've deeply become ingrained in is when I'm making an ask, it is very clear to me what the win for that person is. Even if I'm just asking someone, for example, I asked someone who I don't know, who I thought would say no to be on my podcast, someone who's quite famous. And the way that I asked, I said, this is the win for you. This is the win for me. And she said yes, right? And so it was a sincere way for me to create a win for her time. And so we get to start to understand as a culture, how do we, no matter where we move in space, how are we creating a win for that person? That's usually pretty easy. But how do we make a win for ourselves? And so that's the other deeper understanding of, yes, there's service involved that is non-negotiable, that is always there. We are service centered. And what is the earning? As an energetic exchange, it's serve and earn, serve and earn. So those are some of the things culturally that I think within the school itself. If I could articulate that, there's probably more that can't put linguistics to.
Oh my goodness, that is so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Dr. Una talks about her own journey, right? She talks about how when she started entrepreneurship, she says that she was like a deer in headlights, and then it happened again when she started to build her team so she could exit her practice. And then it happened again, that feeling of being a deer in headlights and not knowing what to do when she hit $1 million in revenue in EntreMD. So we never really quite escaped that. But there is definitely a formula, right? That formula, that some of the things you mentioned, mentorship, community, accountability, those things are what Dr. Una uses and what the students in the school use to get the level of impact. So thank you so much for sharing. This has been so impactful. Let's give some love to Dr. Schrum in the comments. We're like trying to write down every word as you're speaking. You're such an eloquent speaker. And we just loved having you today. And thank you for being so transparent with your story.
It's an honor.
Let us know
Thank you so much.
let us know how we can reach out to you, or how we can find you on social media. Let us
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I'm on, just my handle is just Dr. Rashmi Shram on Instagram, Facebook. You can find me there. My email is just rashmi@rashmishram.com. And yeah, feel free to ask me any questions or reach out to me. I'm always happy to answer, especially if you're considering joining the school and you want to have a little bit more of an in-depth discussion or something like that. I'm always happy to do that. Make sure that you've gathered all the data that you can before you hit that yes button.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot to think about, when you're making that decision. So thank you for that offer. That's awesome. Let's give it up for her in the comments. Thank you so much, Dr. Schramm, for your time. It's invaluable. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the Entrepreneur Business School is there to help you have that life of impact, that you want. We're here. It's a program that is there to help you have a life of impact, to help you increase profits, to help you build a dream team, to help you live a life on your own terms. When you join, you're going to get the things that we talked about tonight. You're going to get a proven roadmap, which is the mentorship that comes from Dr. Una, right? You're going to get the community, and we've talked about the community where it's a community of collaboration, not competition. Entrepreneurship can be lonely. How many can attest? Is there anybody that can attest to that? Entrepreneurship can be lonely, but it's not lonely when you have a community. I'm looking at Dr. Beverly. She's like, well, no. It doesn't have to be for you either. It doesn't have to be. Dr. Johnson said, yes, yes. It doesn't have to be for you either when you have a community, right? And then there's that accountability, right? You can get more done in the next 90 days. And we've actually had people tell us that. We've actually had people join the school that have told us, I've gotten more done in the past 90 days than I have in my past 3 years. Why? Because you are having somebody hold you accountable, right? So I'm going to just put this is my direct link to get on a call with me. If you would love to get on a call with me, if you have any questions, I would love to discuss with you how you can start living that life of impact and implementing everything you've learned today on an ongoing basis. Now, don't forget your homework. Nicole, if you don't mind posting that homework again. Don't forget your homework. You're going to do all the asks. That's your homework. Anybody does all those asks, I have some stuff for you. Like Dr. Una said, I love to spend her money and I will spend it gleefully. I'll spend it joyfully. So I'm going to be looking for people who are asking. So don't forget to do all the ask and let us know about your homework tomorrow. Tomorrow is all about how to position your business as the number one option. You do not want to miss tomorrow night. We're in an age where AI is taking over so many things. We're in an age where there are maybe different other people with your type of business. So how can you position yourself, set yourself apart as the number one option? That's what Dr. Una is going to tell us all about tomorrow night, and it's going to be fantastic. See you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you all for your time. Have a good evening. Good night.